Good morning, everyone. Hi and welcome. My name is Carly Bell, and I love to do machine embroidery tutorials. And today we are combining my love for embroidery and my new obsession with quilting and doing a sew along series. So, this is week 4 of the sew along, and we are making this oh so delightful quilt from Kimberbell. So, welcome. Thank you for returning if you've been keeping up with me, and welcome if you're new to the series and starting to catch up now and seeing what we're doing. And I hope that you are enjoying it. So let me check the chat real quick. Hi, Patty, Diane, Marina, and Joe. Good morning. So super excited. We are done with section 1 of the quilt. So if you watched last week, we made all of the filler blocks for section 1 here. So everything that is just fabric with a little bit of quilting on top of it, those are our filler blocks. So we completed all of those in just 2 hoopings last week. And I started to piece together some of the blocks at the end of the live. But then I realized I could not find my piece to trim my 2.5-inch blocks. So I ended the live. Of course, as soon as I turned the camera off, I'm like, the first place I went and looked in my closet, that's where the piece was I was missing. Let me get it out for you so you can see. It's just a cute little square. That's all it is. It's great because it has, I guess, these engravings on it that help with the 2.5-inch block. So this was the piece that I was missing. It usually comes in the center of these orange pop rulers. And what I did was, since the live was over, I just turned my phone on and I recorded with my phone, trimming the 2.5-inch blocks and piecing everything together. So that video is on my YouTube channel. I've also added it to the Oh So Delightful playlist that we have going right now. So if you just click that playlist, you'll see all the videos in order. And that's a little, I think it was like less than 10 minutes, showing trimming everything, piecing it, ironing it, and everything. Now, when I was done and I was editing that little video and looking at it, I was like, something looks a little off. And I was like, looking at this, I was like, it's odd that we have these pinks and reds like all close to one another, I guess. But I thought, I was like, I would have liked, you would have thought maybe a little bit more contrast there. And sure enough, I look at my book and I did not, I flipped it around when I pieced it. So when you look at the book, the red scissor is on the outer corner and the blue scissors is what's next to the 2 little 2-inch squares. So mine is the opposite. So when I started piecing this to this strip, I had this turned the wrong direction. So I noticed it when I was done. And at this point, I still think it looks good and it doesn't bother me enough to want to rip all of this open and re-piece it together. So like I said, as of right now, it doesn't bother me enough. But when we get closer to the end where we're going to start piecing the whole quilt top together, I may reconsider. But as of right now, I think it still looks good and I'm not gonna mess with it, because knowing my luck, I'll mess something up when I do it. So I'm just gonna leave it alone. It's fine. It's still pretty. So that was last week. This week we are moving on to section 2 of the quilt. So when you're looking at your example, it's this strip here in the middle that has a pincushion block. It has some filler blocks. It has this pretty flying geese block, and they have these long, skinny, what we call filler blocks, kind of separating it. So this whole section here, section 2, that's what we're starting on. So my goal today is to make the pincushion block and the flying geese block. And then next week, make all the filler blocks for this section. And then maybe then we can piece it all live. when it's done as well. So we'll see. But yeah, that's it. So if you are working with me, you are going to want to grab your supplies for the pincushion and flying geese. I'm going to do the pincushion first. I'm going to do these separately, each in a 5x7 hoop. So I'm just going to start with the pincushion, stitch in a 5x7 hoop, unhoop it, and then do the flying geese. All right. Looking at the chat. I love John's like, nobody is probably going to even notice that I switched around my scissors. Thank you. I don't think anyone will notice either. Marina, let's see. She has a question. So this has to do with the pincushion block. There is a piece that came in the embellishment kit, and it is a piece of velvet. It's really pretty. So this is going to get used on the pincushion block. She's asking me, did I put SF 101 on the back of this? No, I have not. I don't plan on it, but I didn't really look into it to see if it's something that they recommend. I just skimmed through the instructions before we started. And I don't see anything about the SF 101 being on the back of the velvet. So I'm going to say no, I'm not going to do it. I don't know how velvet does with heat either, since I think it's a polyester fabric. I don't know. I'm going to say no. All right. So grab your envelopes for those. The pincushion has a lot of embellishments, but a lesson I learned last week, this is also sheds a lot. The lesson I learned last week was we really want to wait to add our embellishments until after things are pieced together, because I added the little, what are these called? The little prongs in the middle of the scissors. And as I was putting this together, I realized, this is hitting the iron as I'm ironing my seams for this. So we're not going to add any embellishments until probably almost the end. So even though I have them all in my envelope ready, all those 3D effects, like in this pincushion, they have the cute little flowered pins, and they have this wool strawberry poking out. So we're going to wait and do that probably all the way at the end once everything is pieced before, and maybe even before stitching the ditch, probably. I haven't pieced one of these wool bits on before, but I'm guessing we're just going to tack it from underneath to the background fabric. But the main thing we'll be using is just the velvet for today, and then threads. Okay. So yeah, Joe's saying velvet and heat don't mix well. All right, that's what I would, and I think they put little warnings in the instructions saying, be careful with, I want to say they said velvet, vinyl, mylar, any of those embellishments on your quilt when ironing, to use a pressing cloth or something to protect it so that the iron is not touching it directly. Okay, so I think that's everything I wanted to go over. You're also going to want to grab your free printable. If you haven't grabbed this already, there should be a link right under the video. This is a free download I made for y'all that just helps us stay organized, and I can see, all right, my pincushion block, this is the background quilting I need. This is the page number for the instructions on the book, the size of the batting, the size of the final cut, what background fabric I'm using, what embellishments I'm using, and what color I'm quilting, and what the color thread for the background quilting. So it just helps keep us all organized. So you're going to want to have this out as well. And another thing I wanted to bring up, and I don't remember if I put it in my supply list, with the flying geese block, this block is all pieced in the hoop. And from my experience with making perfectly pieced projects from Me Time, which is under the Kimberbell umbrella, this little fabric folding pin came in super duper handy. So I'll be using this today on the second block we make, which is the flying geese. So I got that out on my table, and I got my thread colors. And so let's just go ahead and get started. Because I'm making both of these blocks directly in a 5x7 hoop, I'm not trying to combine things. It's super easy to put this together either in Embrilliance or even just on your machine. So really quickly, I'm going to show you Embrilliance and what we are doing. There we go. Okay, so here's Embrilliance. I made them already and sent them to my machine, but we can start from scratch. So with the pincushion block, so if you want to open a new hoop, I'm using 5x7. So if you want to go ahead and select that in your preference window, the first thing you're going to add is the background quilting. And if we look at our handout, it is Hobby 6 in a 4x6 size. So I'm going to pull up my embroidery designs. I got my Kimberbell folder. I got my folder for this quilt. This is all the background quilting designs. And this one's Hobby 1. This one's Hobby 6. All right, Hobby 6, double click that. Embroidery files, block by block. You could pick whatever format. And then here we go, 4x6, Hobby 6. This is me. I'm gonna drag it and drop it. It is automatically gonna center itself in the hoop. And now I'm gonna put my pincushion design right on top of it. So I'm going back, and now I'm gonna go to the embroidery files. And these are the bonus projects, but we want So Happy. And you can find the pincushion block here. Because I have Embrilliance Thumbnailer, I could see little previews of my embroidery designs, because normally a computer does not know what to do with an embroidery design. It doesn't know what to show you, and it doesn't know what program to open it with. So that's where Embrilliance, the program, is wonderful, and Thumbnailer, which is a separate program from Embrilliance, is wonderful. It lets me see all these little previews. So I am just going to click the pincushion, drag and drop. It is going to automatically add the pincushion in the middle of the hoop. They have these little, I don't know if you can see these black lines here and here, and you can see them here. This is kind of registration, so that the pincushion itself is kind of offset here towards what's going to be the left when it's done, or the bottom. Those little lines there help it so that when we open it in the program, it aligns right where it's supposed to. So that the embroidery design is going to go right on top of the background quilting. Now it is pretty much set to go to your machine. You don't need to do any color sorting. If you are like me and you're skipping the whole trimming, the batting, if you want to delete this step and this step, you can. I just usually skip them on my machine. And you shouldn't need to color sort anything else. Just go in the order that it has it already for you. So that's the pincushion block. You can save it and now send it to your machine. Next is flying geese. Flying geese is going to be the opposite, because this piece is kind of like a special filler block. Our background fabric and the quilting is going to be on top, but there is piecing going on in here. So with this one, we are going to open the flying geese design first, which is here. And if you haven't done any piecing in the hoop before, you're going to enjoy this. It's really fun. It helps you to get perfect little points. I've really enjoyed all the projects that I've done with piecing in the hoop. I think this will be my first time making flying geese in the hoop, though. So I'll show you step by step how to do this, but you want to open this design first and then do the quilting on top. And if I go to my cheat sheet that I made for y'all, I need radial lines too. There's radial lines too, and I need it in the 4x6 size. Embroidery files, PES, right here. radial lines 2 in size 4x6. Drag and drop. And again, it's automatically going to go centered in the hoop. You don't need to align anything, and you also don't need to color sort anything. This one is now ready to send to your machine. So if you haven't done this already, and even if you're not stitching with me right now live, you can go ahead and make all of these as you're watching me make them, and you can save them as a working file so that when you are ready to stitch, you have all of your files made. So like, for instance, what I've been doing in my folder that I've made myself here, I've made an additional folder that says working files. And so I have my flying geese one. There's my pincushion. These are my scissors 1 and 2 where I've color sorted them. And this is before I color sorted them. You know, and so like you can go and save all your working files in here. You can also save the PES files as well. For me, I can open the working file, and then because I have a wireless machine, I can just go to utility and send to my brother or baby lock machine. So whatever you want to do, but that is it for Embrilliance. Please let me know if you have any questions. Okay, so I see Pearl has asked, how do you purchase the book? Right here. So this was a purchase I made from Kimberbell. It was on sale a while back, which is the whole inspiration for this project. I couldn't pass up the sale, so I bought all the stuff to make it. And then I know myself in that I'm not really good with long-term projects. I'm great with making things on my embroidery machine that only take an hour or two. But when things take longer than that, I tend not to finish them, hence the sew along. So y'all are my accountability group to finish this quilt. So I purchased this from Kimberbell. It's also on sale, I think, on Amazon. I've made a whole list on my website for you with all of the information on this project and what you would need to do it. Let me show it to you real quick. There should be a link below the video, but if you just go to my website, carlybell.com. Okay, so this is my website. And if you scroll down a lot, here we go, recent posts. So this was the sip and stitch we did last week. And right here, the Oh So Delightful Sew Along. When you click on here, it tells you about this sew along that we're doing. This is the video from the first week that goes over everything you need and how to prepare for the quilt. And then here's the supplies. So this is, I have it linked down below, but I made this so I had little pictures. This is for the actual book with the CD with all the embroidery designs. Now this doesn't include what we call the background quilting designs, which y'all just saw me add for my blocks. This is a separate purchase from Kimberbell. Another separate purchase is the embellishment kit. This is where I'm getting my velvet and my little wool strawberry and things for block today, and buttons, all those fun things. And then lastly, there is a fabric kit that you can purchase that includes all the fabric for this project if you want your quilt to look just like the example. By all means, you can use whatever fabric you want. So those are the four main things. And then I have all of the other little knick-knack supplies that I am using is all here. And yeah, the thread colors, they do have a thread kit too if you need some thread colors. And this is where you can download the free cheat sheet right here. So all of that is on that page on my website. Okay, where am I? Okay. Oh, Lisa loves the, I love the folding fabric pen too. Yes. Okay, now let's talk about my new problem. Michelle, she bought the Main Street pillow. Can't wait to work on this next. So if you've been watching since the first week, y'all know that I own several Kimberbell projects, but have yet to actually make any. So this is the first one. We are completing this. And I already have something called the Spring Showers quilt. and the Candy Corn Quilt Shop quilt. And I planned on doing sew-alongs for those after and not buy anything new until I've made what I have. But this whole deal of the week thing on Kimberbell, I need to stop looking at it every Monday. Like I'm checking it. I'm like, what they got this week? So every week Kimberbell has some deals of the week. And sometimes they're like, I don't. They had a really big sale actually a few weeks ago, and I did not buy anything. I put a whole bunch of stuff in my cart and I did not check out. So I was good. But this week they have a couple bench pillows. And what I like about the bench pillows is that, number one, they're not as expensive. These quilts are not cheap to make at all. Even when I caught it on sale, I'm still like spending way too much money. But the bench pillows, much less expensive. And then when it's on sale, really much less expensive. And they're going to take hopefully a lot quicker to put together. So there is a like 4th of July themed bench pillow on sale this week. It's called the Main Street. Is that what it's called? Main Street something. And I bought it. Let me show you. I bought something else too. Okay, Main Street pillow. The designs are on sale for only $15, which is a good deal in my opinion. They're not going to mail you a book or a CD. It's all digital. And the embellishment kit for the pillow is also on sale for $15. And let me go to the website so I can just show it to you. But point of my story is, yes, I bought it. Yes, I plan on having to sew along to make it after we finish this quilt. Okay, y'all should be seeing my computer. So Kimberbell.com, just click deal of the week. And this is what's on sale. Main Street Celebration. Look how cute this is. Let me see. So it looks like it has what? 7 blocks going across, and each one is made in a 5. No, I think they're made in a 6x10 hoop actually, where you could do it all in one hooping, but they have instructions for a 5x7 hoop so that you can just do 2 hoopings for each block. So it'll definitely go faster if we use our 6x10 hoop if you have that big of a hoop. But if you only have a 5x7, it is still very doable. The other thing, so the embellishment kit's on sale. The other thing I wanted to point out is you see the cute little firework background quilting. That's the same background quilting is used on all these blocks in the middle. And then there is a different border quilting. So if you wanted to buy everything besides the fabric to make it look like this, I'm gonna tell you what I bought. I bought the pillow design, the embellishment kit, and I bought 2 background quilting designs. They're named Patriot 1 and Patriot 1 Border. I put all the information in my email newsletter this morning, but I'll post all of it. But if you want to go grab this while it's on sale, you can get it and then have it ready for when we do this sew along next. My goal is to have it done like by the middle of June so that I could actually put it on my sofa before 4th of July. The other bench pillow that's on sale is cute, but not cute enough for me to add to my growing list. But if you are interested, the Sweetest Pie bench pillow and embellishment kit are also on sale. And this is a good deal for sticky back wash away if you don't have any. The other thing I bought, my girlfriend's quilt shop, this is what I want, is, oops. Let's see. I forget what it's called already. Let me find the picture and then show y'all. So it's a new ladder quilt from Kimberbell. It is on pre-order right now. And let me find the picture of it. Okay, here it is. This is the Star Spangled Beauty ladder full quilt. It's super cute. And several quilt shops have a discount. It's not a huge discount, but I'll take any discount right now. Um, where if you buy the whole kit, this includes the book with the CD with all the designs, a fabric kit, all the fabric for it, and an embellishment kit. And so it's on sale for $180 when it's usually what, $216. I did order this. I don't plan on making it till next year, but I just wanted to grab it while it's on sale. So I put all that info in the email newsletter that I sent out this morning. Let's see. All right, I'm checking the thing. And then something they did a week or two ago is they had a sale. Kimberbell's website deal of the week was 30% all of background quilting designs. And of course, I didn't buy any because I'm like, I got what I need. And then I bought more background quilting designs this week. But yes, I'm glad that you took advantage of that, Diane. And I am sorry, Marina, that I am tempting you again. And she doesn't have the Halloween one. That one is another one I got as a deal of the week where I got all the designs, the embellishment kit, all the background quilting as a deal, I think for $99 in batting. It came with batting too. So that's why I keep watching it so that I can get those really big sets on sale. And I need to tell myself the next one and the last one I'm going to buy is I really want the Christmas bench pillow. I think it's called Candy Cane Lane. Probably would also like a Christmas quilt, but I want the bench pillow first. So I'm going to keep watching every week to see if that goes on sale before Christmas so then I can make it for Christmas. All right. Okay. So yeah, I know y'all have the same problem I have. So I feel like we can relate to one another because I'm trying to be more conscientious of how many things that I'm buying but we're making it. So there we go. It's going to be beautiful when it's done. All right. Sorry for that sidebar. Let's actually get stitching now. Okay. So we are going to do pincushion first. 5x7 hoop. You can use, what is it? No-show poly mesh stabilizer, or I am using cotton muslin fabric as a stabilizer for all of my blocks. So this is a little piece I had left over from last week. Hopefully it's big enough going in up and down direction so that I can hoop it. Trying to make sure it's pulled good and tight. It's like just a smidge probably shorter than I would like it to be. There we go. Okay. Make sure that is good and tight. So, like I said, I'm using this as my stabilizer. And what we're going to need at the machine is the batting, your background fabric. I got little pieces of velvet everywhere because it is shedding. And I have all my background fabric I've already prepped with the SF 101. So that is all ready to go. 1 week we tried using temporary spray adhesive on the back of things to hold it into place. Another time we used school glue, and I didn't seem to have a trouble with either one. So whatever method you would like to hold things in place. And this is part of the applique for the pincushion. Normally I add Heat and Bond Light to the back of all of my applique pieces, but I'm trying just the SF 101 for this quilt since I like the Heat and Bond Light, especially for clothing that's going to go in the wash so that my applique fabric doesn't pull and pucker away from my shirt. But with the quilt, I guess it's probably not as necessary. So I have these, and then the velvet I'm gonna try to keep separate to keep it from fraying everywhere. And you are gonna wanna take all of this to your machine that hopefully you've already sent your embroidery design to, whether it be by USB or wireless, whichever one you have. I'm gonna take my book with me too for the instructions, and my thread colors. We're using dark green, red, and light gray. And then also I have my water soluble thread for the basting stitch, which if you haven't seen that yet. So these are my thread colors for the pin cushion, my water soluble. So let me go ahead and load my design. Pin cushion. Okay. Set. Embroider. I shouldn't have to do anything. I got it. Everything in place where it's supposed to be. And step number 1 is going to show me right where to put my batting. And I just have white thread loaded right now, and I'm just going to leave that as my placement stitch. It's fine. So lower and go. And my cheat sheet says I am doing white background quilting on this. All right, so it may be hard for you to see, but I have a nice white rectangle. Can you see it? It's hard. There. Showing me right where to put my batting. I have opted to cut my batting the exact size I need it to be. So I just put it right where it needs to go. And you can either spray the back of your batting or use a little bit of glue stick to kind of hold it in place. So I have that going right where I need it to. And then I'm going to skip steps 2 and 3 by hitting the needle plus minus button. Skip, skip. So now I have gone straight to the basting stitch to baste down my background fabric. And I can just lay this directly on top of my batting. It's much bigger, I think, than it needs to be, so that you shouldn't have any problem with centering it or making sure it's in the right spot. It's pretty much the size of my hoop here, so I can just put it on top. And load. And for the basting stitch, this is when we use the water-soluble thread just for the top, and it makes it much easier to remove after. And I have a link for this in that supply list I was showing you on my website. It keeps getting caught on something. I probably need to use a spool cap. Let's see. There we go. No, I need a bigger spool cap. Let me find one. I don't know. I never use spool caps. But this little bit of thread is not like, the spool is not like my embroidery thread cones. Where's my thing? Sorry, my box for my machine. I hide it in the back. Yes. Spool caps. Bigger. That should keep it. I don't know if you could see. This is giving me trouble because it keeps getting hooked on the little slit in the plastic right here. when I was even trying to just get it through the thread path. See, I'm pulling and it gets hooked. And this will hopefully prevent that from happening so it won't snag while it's stitching and won't have a thread break. I think that's going to do the trick. Okay, I need to thread the needle. Okay, and my hoop is in place. Everything is where it needs to be. Smooth this out, lower, and go. And you can add some spray adhesive to the underside of your background fabric, or you could just use a chopstick or a pencil, stiletto. I just pull it and make sure like it doesn't bubble up in the middle. Okay, so now that's basted. And next is the background quilting, which I am doing in white. So I'm going to take off my water soluble thread, put my white thread, and let that start stitching. Also, something else we're going to need is applique scissors, because we have 2 pieces of applique for this pincushion. One's going to be the regular red fabric. The other is going to be the velvet. And I'm probably going to be using my lint roller a bunch because I know as soon as I cut the velvet, there'll be pieces everywhere. Or if you have like a little mini vacuum, you can get them up. Okay. Let me go check the chat. Oh, you know what else we need for the pincushion? I forgot, is flexi foam. I got that on my chair over here. Oh, wow. So going back to all the quilts that I want to make, Patricia finally finished Spring Showers. It took her 2 years. Yeah, it's taken me longer than that because I think I've only made 3 blocks, and I started it 2 years ago. Wendy's like, I want to make a bench pillow, but I don't have a bench. I'm putting it on the sofa. I'm putting it somewhere. It's going to be displayed. I do have a little bench by my front door. I have a bench on my front porch, but I don't know if I want to leave that outside. It'd be covered, but I don't know if I'd want it to get all damp. Louisiana weather, very humid all the time. Thank you. So Nat said she usually turns the spool upside down to help prevent that from happening. Yes, that is a great tip. However, this little spool has a slit on both the top and the bottom. I tried that. So it like catches on both sides. But the little spool cap, yeah, this one's got a slit down here too at the bottom. And it's got a slit at the top. Yeah, both sides. And let me look ahead. So the first thing after the background quilting is done is flexi foam. So I'm going to go cut a piece of flexi foam to put in it. I guess you treat it just like an applique, and this is what I have. So Kimberbell has its own version. It's called Flex E with an I right here, foam. And then Pellon has it, Flex Foam. They have some that is sewable, one side fusible, 2 sides fusible. I got this to make, I got to buy Annie's pattern for a bag. And that's what I bought this for, but now I'm going to use it for this too. So I'm going to go cut myself a little square, a rectangle, because it's ready now. Okay, so the background quilting is done. And the next step is the placement for this. I'm going to go ahead and put on the green thread so I could actually see the placement stitch. This is going to be the next color anyway, because all the outline of the pincushion is this green. Okay, so next step is the placement for the foam. I'll go ahead and stitch that so then I can know what size to cut. See. And I think, so this did not come in the embellishment kit, but in other embellishment kit, like the embellishment kit for spring showers, it's in there. So I don't know. I guess recently they stopped including this in embellishment kits. So if you're making more Kimberbell things, it's probably good to go and invest in a pack of it so that you can use it for these kinds of projects. And then, like I said, I'm going to use it for a bag. That's maybe another sew along in the future, even though I've never made a bag before. Y'all could just watch me mess up. Okay. Flexi foam done. All right, put my hoop back. I think mine is one side is fusible. This is a fusible side. I'll lay that down just to have it go in the right direction for when I iron it. Okay, now this is going to be a tack down stitch. This is going to be just like an applique, and it should go fine. Let me see if I need to raise my presser foot. It should glide on it pretty fine, but this is adding a good bit of height. I don't know how the thickness of this one is compared to the Kimberbell brand. I think I have a piece that came with my spring showers quilt, and I want to say it's very similar, but not so high that I needed to raise my presser foot. It glides on it good. All right, now we need to trim this just like an applique. So let's go to the craft table and do that. And I'm gonna try it with these and see how it goes. These, I use this for everything. I love the snips versus real scissors, or traditional looking, I guess, applique or duckbill scissors. I like the snips. Oh yeah, this works very nicely. So I'm just trimming as close as I can to that stitch line as possible. Okay, yay, Kathy. Kathy's on board. She also purchased the Main Street pillow and embellishment kit, so she can't wait to do that one too. Yay. I'm thinking that I was trying to figure out weeks. Let me look at my calendar while I'm cutting. And let's see. So where are we today? We are April 3rd. And we're starting section 2. So next one is April 10th. I hope to finish section 2. That would be the filler blocks and the piecing it together. So then April 17th, what would be then? Oh, the pretty spool blocks. Those are also pieced like the flying geese, but they look like spools of thread. They're super cute. What I'm thinking for that is we will do one for the live, and then the other 2 are going to be homework. So we can do that would be on the 17th. Then that cross stitch heart and iron and filler blocks. So probably do the spool and cross stitch heart, and then do on the 17th, and then the 24th do iron and filler blocks. And then now we're in May. I'm looking at my cheat sheet, figuring out. That'd be the end of section 3. And then section 4, sewing machine, dress form, life is so good, cross stitch heart. So that would probably be 2 more weeks. So May 1st, May 8th, and then May 15th might be putting it, doing the borders and starting to put it together. Probably need till the 22nd. So maybe the last week in May we can start the Main Street bench pillow. All right, so the next step is the applique of the little red piece of fabric. They have, you can do the placement stitch so it could show you right where it goes, but I think really we could just do this and go. I'll do both just to make sure y'all see. Okay, so now that the flexi foam is trimmed, yes, the next step is placement for this. I'll have this ready. All right. Now I can tell that, you know, this is totally covering up anywhere where it needs to stitch. And it's just going to go over the same spot again now and tack that down. I love the dimension that the foam is giving it. And it's going to look like an old-fashioned little tomato pincushion. It's going to be so cute. Okay. And now we'll go trim that just like we did the foam. Ozzy, stop fussing. And my dog's barking right outside my door. Heard my machine going. He's like, I don't like that noise. Okay, so this is probably definitely where the snips are helpful because we're going to be getting into a little bit of tight space up here. And this is going on top of the foam, so make sure you're not digging your scissors and trimming the foam in this section here where you don't want it to. You want that to stay right where it is. See, it's a little bit tight right here. Okay. Yeah, so just take your time. Make sure you're not trimming anything you're not supposed to be trimming. There's that middle bit. But all these raw edges are going to get covered up with a nice satin stitch so that you won't see them. Okay, so that is the regular fabric bit of the pincushion. Next will be the velvet. Y'all could see how it's coming along. So now it will stitch the placement for the velvet, which to me is obvious. You could probably skip this step, but I'll just go in order. And I got this big piece of velvet in the embellishment kit. Now some of it is going to be used. They actually have a 3-dimensional tomato pincushion that comes with this set of designs with the quilt. It's a bonus project. And that looks so cool to me. I have no idea. I've never, oops, I touched something. I've never made anything like that before on an embroidery machine. I don't know if y'all could see it right here. Like, I probably will try to make that later. But that's where the rest of the velvet is going to go to. So you just need a small piece for this. So I'm just going to cover it up with the corner, and then I'm going to save the rest for that 3-dimensional pincushion. Okay. Got a little wrinkle right there. There we go. That wrinkle will probably get covered up with a satin stitch though. Okay. And now we will trim this. I got a little wrinkle right there. I probably push it right out. It'll be fine. Okay. So here's the velvet. I'm gonna go ahead and trim this bit off. And I'll save this for my other projects. And you can trim this. And again, so now this velvet is on top of this red applique we already trimmed. So again, it's just making sure you're gliding your scissors on top of this red fabric and not piercing it with your scissors and cutting into it on accident. A little bit tight corner up here. These super pointy scissors definitely come in handy. It's projects and like this. Okay. All right. That looks pretty. And now I got the fuzzies everywhere. Elise always comes in here and steals my lint roller. And I think she used like 50 of the sheets the other day. Because the cat loves to sit on her. She's got like a cute little kid mini tufted chair. And it feels like velvet. It's like microfiber, and the cat hair just sticks to it. So she went and used this to get all the she used all the sheets. But luckily I have extra rolls. They just pop off and go right back on. Okay. That is done with the applique. So I think all that's left is thread. It's going to be super easy. It's just going to take a minute because it's all satin stitching. So wait, I got to change the camera. So that's the green thread I already have loaded. So you can see on the embroidery screen is just the outline of your little tomato is next. And I wonder if some water soluble topper would look good, would help it to look good on especially that velvet. And it's plushy. I'm gonna go ahead and use some. We was doing a project the other day. It doesn't hurt to use it. I may not, some cases may not always be necessary, but it definitely don't hurt. I probably cut this piece too small. It's just gonna move. Let's see. Let's see if it stays, if it tacks it down. Okay. Where is my, let me do this. Okay. So this is the longest step of the whole block. It's all this satin stitching. It does it bits at a time. You could also tape this in place to help it stay where it's supposed to. Okay. So I don't have to watch it. All right, so that is going to take a while to stitch. That's probably, I should have waited to show y'all all the Main Street stuff while that was happening. And we could use this time. Any questions anyone has, even off topic, anything about crafting embroidery in general? I could show y'all those that don't know those other quilts I was talking about. Let me pull up pictures of those so y'all can see. Let's see. Let me look up. Let me do candy corn workshop. And I'm going to switch you over to my computer real quick. So this is available to buy at several places on Kimberbell's website, but this is the other quilt that I have everything for. I have the background quilting, I have the designs, I have the embellishment kit, and I got a fabric kit I found on Etsy. And look how cute this one is. Super cute. I can't tell if it's going to, I think it's going to be bigger than the quilt we're making now. Or it's more square, and the quilt we're making now is rectangle. So this is 40 by 40. My quilt we're making now is what? 26 by 38. So yeah, it's a good bit, it's bigger. So this is probably going to take more time, more blocks. They definitely, it looks to have less filler blocks than the quilt we're doing now. I love the picture of them with all dressed as witches on the thing, but look how cute it is. I love the witch holding the mini quilt. How cute is that? So that's the kind of stuff that comes in the embellishment kit, that little mini quilt and the little button that looks like the witch's fingers. Oh, it's not showing the picture. This one? No, it doesn't like that picture. Oh well. But that's it, and you could see it's apparently out of stock on Kimberbell, but I think Amazon has it. You can also check if you have a local quilt shop that carries Kimberbell products, and then a lot of quilt shops have Etsy shops. So that's where I end up buying the fabric kits from, random quilt shops on Etsy that have the fabric kits. So this is something I'd like to start in August and have it done by the beginning of October. We'll see if that actually happens. And then the other one I want to make, I don't own yet though, is candy cane. This is a bench pillow, a Christmas bench pillow I've been wanting to make for years. Oh, they don't even have it on here. But it's adorable. Let's see if this shows. No, it's sold out. Just show me the pillow. Look at the pillow, how cute. This is the bits on the pillow. And you can put the little fairy lights in it. It's very cute. So that's a pillow I want to make, and I'm gonna keep watching the deals of the week to see if that goes on sale anytime before Christmas. So they just had the Thanksgiving one on sale. Maybe it will happen soon. We will see. Okay. And then I do already own spring showers. I started on that one. That one was my first time buying anything from Kimberbell, and when I bought it, I didn't realize all the extra real purchases that I pretty much needed to make in order to complete the project. And I was like, I'll just use my own fabrics, and that's where I got overwhelmed. The fabric kit definitely makes it a lot less overwhelming. So I have spring showers, and I need to make a plan with it, but that will probably be after Christmas, and hopefully have it done in the spring. And then maybe do that ladder quilt that I bought after that. So that's my obsession at the moment, and all the things that I hope to make. All right, so our little tomato is just stitching away. And then after okay, so this is stitching the pincushion satin outline. Next is stitch back leaves detail, which is in the same green. Then they have a floss tack down line. So we need a piece of the green floss that's in the embellishment kit. There is going to be a part where we're going to stitch a piece coming off of this, and then we'll finish it after. Let me see how long of a piece we need. Eight inches. So I'm going to go cut an 8-inch piece of this green floss real quick. Okay. Oops. All right, so I have that 8-inch piece. I'll put it right here and have it ready. Oops. I just noticed my thread came off of the top bit on the thread stand. So I'm going to fix that. But my stitching looks fine. I didn't mess up the stitching. It looks like it's almost done this side stitch. And then we only have about 4 more minutes left of stitching. And then we can move on to the flying piece block. So any questions about anything? Oh, something else I wanted to tell y'all. I have no clue when I'm going to do it. I was going to do it tomorrow, but I think my husband has a day off of work tomorrow and he wants to go do something together. So I don't know what day it may be next week. But if y'all watched my last sip and stitch, or y'all may have heard me talk about it some other places, but I bought this little canvas banner. And my cousin has asked me to make her a birth. It's kind of like a birth announcement banner, but it's super pretty. She sent me a picture of something she saw, I think, on Etsy and was like, can you make this? And it's beautiful. And I went on the hunt to track down the designs because it was like multiple things. It wasn't just one like ready to go. So I need to make this by next Thursday or Friday. So whenever I do sit down and make it, I'm just going to turn the camera on and go live. And so if y'all want to watch that, make sure that you are subscribed to my YouTube channel. And I think you have to click the little bell button so that you get notifications. So then it will alert you on your phone or your computer and say, hey, Carly's live right now. All right, this is the same. I don't know. On the book, it looks like it's also green. Yeah, it's green. Okay. Leaving the green thread. These are like the little leaves on top of the tomato. Oh, my thread came down again. Why does it keep coming down? Okay. It's coming off my spool holder. Like at the top, the thread stand bit at the top. Let's watch it. It's getting these big old loops in it, that's why. Okay, So jumping to the instructions. So what they show is taping. There's going to be a placement stitch next. That's going to show me, I guess, where to make sure I have the thread. And then it looks like you want it like just a smidge below it. And then I think it's going to get covered up with the rest of the leaves on the little tomato. Okay, so this is a placement stitch. Let me do that. Okay. So it's just a little green line, and I'm going to do just like the book and have it go below that line and then tape it going up to where it stays out the way. So y'all can see that. This is the line. It's like right there, and I have it going just below it. And then it's going to stitch. Let's see what it does first. I might pause it and remove the tape. Maybe I was supposed to put it and let it tack it down. Okay, so it just went over. I paused the machine. It just went over the thing. I probably was supposed to lay it down, and then that stitch, which I thought was a placement stitch, is actually a tack down stitch. I don't want to stitch over all this tape. So, okay, now I can see. Oops, I can't take it off the hoop because it's stitching and the needle is down. Crazy camera for a second. So it's gone over it now. So you see how it's poking up here. So it's going to end up stitching these leaves and just go right over it. I could also probably trim it a little bit closer too if I wanted to. But I think the design is going to end up covering all that extra bit of the floss. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I was supposed to place the green cloth so that the end overlaps the bottom of the leaves a 1/4 inch. With the long end of the floss towards the left of the hoop, tape the floss in place and then stitch the floss tack down line. Remove the tape from the short end of the floss only. Right. So I did it a little backwards, but it still worked. Okay, so that is done. I got a little bit of floss poking out, but actually I kind of like it. It gives a little bit more dimension. And the next step is the little needle stitching. So I'm going to put my silver light gray thread on. Okay, so that's going to stitch some of the needle, and then next is going to be red for some red, and then stitch the trimming guides. Remove block from the hoop. So the last step is trimming guides. That is, okay, I'll just stitch those in red, I guess. That's to help you center your orange pop ruler. Okay, done with silver. Next is red. And this just does like a cute little run, make it look like threads coming out of that needle. And then lastly are just going to be 2 lines on either end, and that's going to help with centering it on your orange pop ruler. So before it does that, I'm going to go ahead and remove my tape and water soluble topper so that doesn't accidentally get in the way. And you can use whatever color thread. I'm just going to leave the red on. To me, I'm going to have, it's probably, I don't even probably need to stitch this because I have my batting to help me center my cut. Yeah, probably can skip this step. Okay, now this is done. And all the rest of it is going to be embellishments added after. And now we can go ahead and move on to the flying geese block. So we can take this out the hoop and clean it up later, but we can trim it and take all the water soluble topper, but it's super cute. I like how poofy it is. And then we'll put the little strawberry accent later and the little pins in the pincushion. All right, I got my extra long piece of muslin that I'm just going to continuously stitch on. And this works well for my 5x7 hoop and my 6x10 hoop. I got it rolled up right now. But this is for flying geese. So now I'm going to take this over, and this is when we're going to want the fabric folding pin. And I think we're using pretty much all white thread for this one. Let me zoom out here. So I'm going to hit OK, home, OK, embroidery, Wi-Fi, and then I'm going to find my flying geese that I've already sent to the machine. Now, one thing I just thought about, if we're doing the quilting after, we're missing the whole step of the batting, tacking it, the batting placement stitch. And with, let me go to the instructions for this one. There is no like background piece for this one because it's getting all pieced together. But I want my batting under this. I don't want to just start stitching right on my stabilizer. So but I do have this stitch line is going to show me right where to put my batting. Okay, I think that's going to work. So the first step is put white thread. Okay. Okay. So the first step of the flying geese part of the design is kind of like a template showing you everywhere how the overall block's going to look. But it's going to include the where like a rectangle where the batting is going to go and a rectangle of what the what you call the cut line would be, where like we usually would do the basting stitch with the water soluble. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch that in white, and that should be good indication of where to put my batting. And then I might even stitch it again so I have those stitch lines on my batting and my batting is good and tacked down. Another option would be to jump ahead to the end of the design where the background quilting is, because remember we did this the opposite. We put the flying geese part and then the background quilting on top. If you jumped ahead and did the batting placement and then go back and stitch this on top. So I'm probably just going to stitch this twice rather than jump around like that. Or if you're still in Embrilliance, bring that batting placement step to be your first step if you're doing it like I am. Okay. So I have all these marks of where the flying geese is going. And this inner rectangle fits my batting perfectly. But I still need this bottom triangle because I need it as a placement to put my first piece of fabric. So I'm just going to stitch this bit on top of the batting. And that's going to help hold it in place as well. Okay, so sorry for repeating. So I'm going to go needle plus minus and go back to the first stitch. Okay. And I just need to watch and make sure that the batting doesn't get caught under the presser foot. There we go. Okay. So I could really stop here because now it's just going to go the outline and it's going to go the other outline. I don't need all that stitched again. So I'm going to cut and now move on to what's going to be the next step. So according to my instructions, this is how it looks. It goes first from mint to yellow to teal with the polka dot fabrics in between. So step number 1 is, so you see this triangle here that's labeled 1. We're going to lay the mint fabric with the right side up, down. And then the next stitch line will be here. And then we'll trim it. And then we use that as a placement for the polka dot fabric, but this time, from this point on, everything will be, I think, right side down. Stitch, and then it folds over. And this is where you're going to use your fabric folding pin to get a nice crease when you roll that over. So this is kind of a process, and you'll see the steps keep repeating. But usually the first step is fabric right side up. Man, I got a red random piece of thread in my, let me just make sure I put it in a spot where it's not going to get seen. Yeah, it won't get seen. Here. Okay, so I'm covering that first bottom triangle. And I am jumping to the next step since I kind of stopped in the middle of that one. So now it's going to do just one line here. So that's done. I don't think you need to tape anything. That's it. Okay. Now we're going to trim this. Like that. And right after it's trimmed, so these are all my fabrics. You're going to have a bunch of these polka dot ones cut already. And we're going to go right side down and use this as a guide for placement. So it is literally right on top of it. See that? So we're going to do just like this. And it's going to go stitch another line a little bit away from here. And then we will fold that over. Okay. Again, right side down. So it did it where we got a little bit of fabric here. And this is when we use the fabric folding pin. Ooh. And I just run it along that stitch line that it just did. And you should be able to just fold it over and finger press pretty nicely. Now previously, before I got this pin, I would take the hoop off, go to my ironing board, and with my little mini iron, I would press each step of folding just to make sure that I get really nice creases, and you want it all to be nice and flat before it moves on to the next step. But I find this pin prevents me from having to keep going back and forth to my iron. I can just finger press. And where I got this cute little roller when I was on vacation, this little presser thing. I don't even know what it's called. Okay, so that is that. Next, we're going to stitch the next step, and we're going to repeat that on this side. So it's going to stitch going down this way. And we are going to trim all the way. You could even trim some of this up here, even though there's not a stitch line, but I'm just kind of following the general direction of what we have. This little bit is hard because they got like 3 layers almost going on right here. Also, this is the first time I've done piecing in the hoop with the SF-101 on the back. I have not done that before. So it makes it a little bit different as far as the creasing and everything, because the fabric is a lot stiffer. All right, so same thing. We got that line, right side down. That's going to stitch pretty much what is our fold line. Then we'll use this to wet that area. And then fold that over. And so you just kind of want all that to lie in place really nicely. Okay, and now that we have kind of like the first set of triangles done, the next step, it's going to stitch a line right across, and then we'll trim all this excess up there. Got a little wrinkly right here. Okay. So we have this stitch line happened here now, and we're going to trim these 2 pieces off. And again, in the middle, it gets a little bulky because you got several layers happening there. Okay. So you can see it's trimmed. I got a little extra here. I might have to get a different pair of scissors. That's a little stronger to get that bit off. Let me try. These other Kimberbell scissors I have. I think that's the best it's going to be. Okay, now that we have this line and it's trimmed, that is going to serve as our placement line for the next triangle. But this time, we're going to do right side down, and we're going to end up folding it up. So you have your placement line. And it's going to do a line going across. And fabric fold pin. And now we can fold that up. And so you see these pretty point that we have right here. That's very nice. I probably would never be able to accomplish that the traditional way. Haven't tried yet, but I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be that nice. Okay, once that's folded up and good, and we're just gonna repeat, oops, this whole side triangle process here. Make sure everything's nice and flat. We can trim. Okay, that is trimmed. Now it also serves as our placement guide for the polka dot, right side down. And it's going to do our folding line stitch. And folding pin. Okay, that looks good. And now it's going to do it on this side. Just check the comments real quick. Okay, yay. So Elsa's saying she is working on a flying geese for a quilt project, and each one is a little bit different. She might try it in the hoop now. Yeah, you can take this embroidery design and use whatever fabrics you want and whatever quilting on top if you want, or not quilt it at all. And so that way you can just have it, make it as a block, and then incorporate it into your quilt. Okay, now I am trimming this yellow bit. Watch I don't trim the batting. So I don't like how it does this jump stitch because it ends up tacking it down above, right where I need to cut it. And so I'm getting this big bulky area at the top of each point. Because of that, I can't get it off. There we go. Okay, so that is trimmed, and use this as a guide, right side down, and it will do the next folding line. Okay. Again, beautiful point right there. I love this. So pretty. Okay, this is where I had a little hiccup. You couldn't see it though, but I gotta watch my presser foot when it goes across. But this is all tacked down good. Okay. Okay. And now we're ready. No, I gotta trim. And then we'll do the teal. Yeah. Have that line, teal, right side down. Oops. Line that going across. Okay, get that nice and pressed. And we'll do the last little white side bits. And trim. Our white polka dot, right side down. Okay. Use the pin. Fold it over. And this is our last piece of fabric. I'm just trimming Again, I have trouble with these points on the triangles with trimming because it's so many layers of scissors. And it has that SF101 on it. Makes it even thicker. Again, I need to go look back and see if I see a note saying not to put that on these blocks. But I don't remember it saying that anywhere. I thought it only said it for the one piece that is on the sewing machine block. There's a little piece of fabric that's like hanging off the sewing machine, and they said not to put SF101 on that because they wanted it to be drapey. I don't remember them saying not to put it on the flying geese. That's okay. That is our guide. Right side down. Don't need to thread the needle. Need to lower the foot. And go. And now the next steps are all the steps for the background quilting. And this is where I am kind of playing it like what I think we're supposed to do. And we don't need the tack down for the batting. We don't need the place, all of that. There is I'm thinking maybe we still should do the tack down with the water soluble basting stitch going around, or should I just go ahead and jump right into the background quilting? Do we even need that step of going around the edges? I guess I should do it just to be safe. So I'm gonna load my water soluble thread. Need to put my spool cap. It's already all twisted up. Okay. Okay, and this is where you're really going to want to make sure everything's flat, and you also are going to want to watch that presser foot that it doesn't accidentally get caught underneath any of these folds. So I'm going to jump ahead. So if this is placement for the batting, next, tack down for, oh wait, it looks like there is a step for tack down built in to the end of the flying geese. That is it. Okay, that's your basting stitch. So I'm gonna go ahead and stitch that. I'm not skipping anything. Okay. Okay. That is my basting. So now I can just skip straight to the quilting. So now I'm gonna jump to the last step of my design. I don't need all those other ones. All right, and I'm gonna skip to the last step. That's that radial quilting. I'm doing that in white thread. It is loaded, presser foot, and good to go. And I'm thinking it should glide over these folds pretty nicely. Everything's nice and pressed. Nothing should get, if you don't really have the ability for the presser foot to get caught underneath it because it's all sewn. All right. We're in the home stretch. All right, Patty saying, I wish I could be brave enough to trim fabric that fast. I'm trimming fast. It's just a straight line, you go right across. But this is beautiful. I think I'm gonna use this block for some other projects. I feel like I learn a lot from doing these quilting in the hoop projects, to where, like, in my head, I could take designs that I already have that have nothing to do with quilting and turn them into quilt blocks by using bits of the Kimberbell designs, like the placement and tack down and basting, and using background quilting, and then take any applique, any filled stitch design that I have, and turn it into quilt blocks. I think we can make some really cute stuff. I love this quilting design. It's super pretty. It's like little starbursts, and they kind of match a couple of the fabrics that they have that look like little starbursts. All right, Karen. So she said, what did I draw along the seam? Are you talking? So when I was using this pin to go along the seam, this is called a fabric folding pin. It has a solution in it. It's made by Clover, and the package comes with this, and you fill this up with water, and I think you just put a couple drops of this. Read the instructions, because I did it wrong the first time. I was using way too much of this, but you just mix a little bit with water, and it helps the fabric fold and crease so nicely, and it prevents me from having to go to the iron every single time like I used to with my old piecing projects. I've done stuff just like this, and for every time I folded it over, I took it over to my ironing station, used my little mini iron, and ironed it in the hoop, and then came back to my machine and moved on to the next step. So it just saves you a lot of time. And then this is a little seam presser, I guess. I got this at a shop in Branson, Missouri. We went to like this woodworking little place. They had all kinds of adorable stuff this man all made, and he had some seam rollers, pressers, and he even had like seam rippers and stilettos all made with a wood handle. It was super pretty. All right, while that is finishing stitching, I think I'm going to go ahead and get what I need ready to trim. What did I do here? So here is the pincushion that we already did. So I'm going to use my tweezers and carefully get my water soluble topper out of there. All right, and the other block is finished stitching. Okay. So, oh, this is so cute. I love the texture and the dimension, and it's going to be even cuter once we put the little pins in it and the little strawberry on the end. It's going to be super cute. Super duper cute. Now we have the water soluble thread going around. Of course, I forgot to make my little thing of water. And we could use the orange pop rulers to trim this out. And here is the flying geese. Look how cute. It's very, very pretty. I love this block. Same thing. We're going to use the water to get the water soluble basting stitch off, and then the orange pop ruler to trim it. So, any questions? Is everyone starting to get the hang of this? I think it's, I feel like I'm getting the hang of it. These are super cute. I'm going to go ahead and trim them later. And my dog, I need to go take my dog out. All he's doing is crying. But I'm going to do just like you've seen. If you've watched the previous weeks, I take a Q-tip dip it in water and run it along that basting stitch. It totally dissolves the stitch. You can pull out the bobbin thread easy on the back, and then use the orange pop rulers to trim it to size. And the size is in your cheat sheet. It tells you the final one, but it's pretty easy to see. So I'm going to do that later, and we'll be back next Thursday. And my goal is to do all the filler blocks for section 2. So according to my notes, we'll end up doing 4 hoopings. They're all going to be in the 5x7 hoop. I'm going to do in the, let me find the book. So these long, skinny filler blocks, you see we got 3 here and 3 here. We could fit 2 of those in a 5x7 hoop. I'm going to do that 3 times. And then there are 2 2x2 blocks. We can fit 2 of those in a 5x7 hoop. And then trim all of that and see about piecing everything together. Oh, there is one, looks like 4x4 block as well, which will also go in a 5x7 hoop. So lots of filler blocks next week. What I might do, just depending on time, is just stitch 2 of the 1x6s in one hooping. I'll stitch the 2 2x2s in one hooping, and then the 4x4 in one hooping. And then your homework will be to do the 2 more long strips. And then what I may do is not live, but just record trimming and piecing it all together, so that y'all can see that before we move on to section 3. And that's when we'll do these cute spools. I love these 3 spool blocks. So we'll do 1 live, and then the other 2 will be your homework. But I think that's it for today. Let me know if y'all have any questions. And you can always, remember, you can get all the information for this project on my website, carlybell.com. Just scroll down till you see the part that says, "Oh, so delightful, sew along." There's also a direct link to it under this video. That's where you can get your free download, supply list, everything you need to know. Also, if you join my email newsletter, well, when you get this download, you will get emails then about this project in my email newsletter. So check your email for that, to make sure you're seeing. That's going to show all my upcoming things. Make sure you're subscribed to my YouTube channel and have notifications turned on, because I will be going live at some point next week to make that cute baby announcement banner. I think it's going to turn out really pretty. And I put the design together already, but I want to show y'all the process because it was a lot. And I think y'all can learn a lot from it, because I combined a lot of things like merging taking elements from one design, but not all of it, and making a new one. I used Enthusiasts to help with individual stitch editing and selection. So I can show y'all how I did all that to make this design come together. So stay tuned for that. Other than that, I think what we got going on next week, I was supposed to do Takeover Tuesday on Sewing Machines Plus, but they are having a special Serger soiree online event. So I will be on Takeover Tuesday on their channel on Tuesday, April 15th. And then we will have our April Sip and Stitch after Easter on April 25th. And we are going to be making a cute book tote. The project's not working out the way I wanted it to, though, because I was counting on using a Kimberbell blank that is the tote bag with the open seams, like it's not put together, so it's flat. And then you just sew it up, but they've serged the seam, so like there's no like raw edge, but it just makes it super easy. It's already open. You stitch it, embroider it, and then just do a straight stitch to close it. Apparently they don't sell those blanks anymore, so I'm having a really hard time finding. I found a quilt shop online that had like 4 left. So I ordered one, but that's going to make it hard for anyone else wanting to do the project. It seems like those blanks are hard to find now, but I'm going to try to find some other options of regular tote bags. Maybe we can buy and open the seam and do it. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be at the end of April. All right, so that's it for today, guys. Thanks so much for joining me. I'll be back again next Thursday and every Thursday after that until we finish this quilt. So have a great rest of your day, and I will see y'all next time. Bye, guys.